How often do you buy a new keyboard? Over the past couple of years, I've tried and built a bunch of different boards until I found the one I would use forever. Or so I thought. I loved it so much when I built it, but when it just wasn't doing it for me anymore, I decided I need to find a keyboard that I'll never get bored of. Which is why, 6 months ago, I bought a keyboard that came in today, but I still have to build it. And if I can't make it the best keyboard I've ever used, I will have wasted 6 months of my life and over $600 for nothing. I'm so excited because I get to build the Glacier 80 from Keycaps. I think it has the most gorgeous layout. WKL, TKL. It's commonly referred to as Win keyless and 10 keyless. This layout chops off the number pad and removes the Windows keys. You might be asking, Starchild, why would you want to remove the Windows keys? They're so useful. You know what? I think it's pretty. The box for this keyboard is beautiful. Unfortunately, mine has a big smudge of probably bean juice. After opening the box, this is what we find. Foam, baby foam, gasket, and daughter board, PCB, plate. Before I start building any keyboard, I usually check to make sure all the sockets on the PCB are working. It would really suck to finish a build that you really love, only to realize that one of the keys that you really need isn't working at all, and there's just nothing you can do about it. Yay, good news, everything is officially working. Next I can move on to the stabilizers, but first, I should quickly tell you about the switches. For this build, I'm using SP Star Polaris Grey switches. I've been using the 63.5 gram Duroc Palm linears in my current board, and I find that they're a little bit too light for me. So these have a 67 gram bottom out and are linears that are supposed to be pretty clacky. I lube these with Krytox 205G0 and Krytox 105 on the springs. And if you have no idea what I just said, it really doesn't matter, so too bad. For those of you that don't know, stabs go under the long keys like space, shift, and enter, so that you can press down anywhere on the key, and the whole key goes down evenly. But they don't go under every long key. I don't want to see any of you chuckle fucks thinking of putting stabs under the caps lock or tab. They're too short. Anyway, I've been wanting to try the TX stabs for a while. From what I've seen, they really don't have any rattle or ticking, and therefore don't need wire balancing or much tuning. So, after lubing the stems and housings with 205G0 and the wire with definitely not toothpaste, I repeat 4 more times. 2, 3, 4, 5. They might be a bit mushy and sluggish, but once they're broken in, I think they will sound really good. After that, I could start assembly. So I put down some PCB foam and the palm plates, and that's palm, as in polyoxymethylene. And then I started putting the switches into the PCB, which took way too long because the plate is way too soft and bendy. It's done. Well, I can finally put it in the case. Oh right, you haven't seen the case yet. This is a WKL Glacier 80 that somehow confused glaciers and icebergs, but ended up with both. This board has a nickel alloy badge on the front and a weight of the same material with an iceberg design on the bottom. This case is beautiful. I had been looking for TKL that I thought was pretty enough to use for a long time. After putting the gaskets on, adding a little bit of foam, and connecting the PCBs, I closed up the board and did a quick sound test to see what I thought. So, how does that sound? I mean, it sounds like complete and utter dog water. If Satan was making hot dogs and for whatever reason in hell chose to boil them, a dumb way to make hot dogs, can I say, and compared that hot dog water to the sound of this keyboard, and you know, they're comparable. It doesn't sound that bad, but I really don't like the sound of the plate. I don't like it. And compared to my old board, with how this board is right now, I don't think I would actually ever use it. And the goal of this video is to make it a keyboard I can use forever. Here's the plan. I'm gonna take it apart, take the switches out, get rid of the plate, don't need it, put the switches back in. I'm probably gonna tape mod it, and we'll see how I like it. I'm also going to add a little bit more foam underneath the PCB, because right now it's a little soft. I don't like typing on a brick, but right now it is simply just way too soft. So, that's the plan. The tape mod, also called the Tempest mod, was discovered by a member of the keyboard community known as Tempest. All you do for this is put a couple layers of masking tape on the underside of the PCB, and in this case I'm using washi tape. Usually it really enhances the sound of a keyboard. In this case I really didn't like it, so I ended up taking it off. But I wanted to show you what it was. Okay. I've put washi tape on both the PCBs, so now all that is left is to put it back together. Connect our ribbon cable, just like so. Now we need to make sure everything's in the right place. Then we get the top of our case. I did it! I finally did it. I got a haircut. But also, I finished building the board how I want it to feel and sound. But the question still remains. Was I able to build a keyboard that I'll use forever? Well, the board itself is beautiful, and aesthetically it has everything I like in a keyboard. Things that keep each face beautiful and interesting really make me enjoy a board so much more. Not to mention, I really like the proportion of keycap, I guess, to aluminum case that you see on the top of the keyboard with this layout. I also really like the feel and sound of the keyboard, especially the spacebar. And because it's probably the most used key, it's really important. So, was I able to build a keyboard that I'll use forever? Honestly, I think so. There's a chance that somewhere down the line I will want to swap out the keycaps or the switches so that I can improve the sound or looks based on my own opinions, but the actual board I don't see myself wanting to change for a really long time. Now a keyboard is only one part of your whole desk setup, and if you want to see how I did mine, go check out this video right here.